Well, hello and welcome, everybody. There is nothing quite like being in a coast redwood forest. In California state parks, we have about 50 or so redwood parks. And today we get a chance to visit one of them, one of my most favorite redwood parks of California state parks. But first, let me welcome you to our Adventure Pass Exploration Live. It's our monthly broadcast where we learn all there is to learn about the California State Park Adventure Pass and where it can take you. And today we visit one of the Adventure Pass parks at the northernmost part of our state. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Daniel, and I am the California State Parks Adventure Pass Programs Coordinator. And I get to be your guide today on this adventure, learning all about this free Adventure Pass for fourth graders that will take you to 19 select state parks. So we're going to make it our mission today to learn what the pass is, who it's for, how to get one, and where it will take you. And to start us off with all of that, I've got this fantastic video I want to share with you, an introduction into the Adventure Pass that will kind of set the foundation for our program today. So listen up to this wonderful video and glean as much information as you can. After the video, we take a brief journey into our Adventure Pass website. Then we get to see a really cool map about the Adventure Pass. And then we will end up at Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park, where we will meet with park interpreter Kyle, and he will share with us some of the things an Adventure Pass user can do with their Adventure Pass. But first, let's bring on this video. Hold on, everybody. Here we go.
Have you ever visited California's redwood forests? Explored the vast desert? Felt the power of the Pacific Ocean? These adventures and more can be yours to discover with the free California State Park Adventure Pass. Available to fourth graders and their families, this pass provides free access to select parks throughout California, waiving the day use and entry fees for a full year. With a variety of benefits including access to museums, historic sites, and natural parks, adventure awaits you. Visit our website at parks.ca.gov/adventurepass to get your free pass and learn more about this program. Let your adventures begin at California State Parks.
Awesome. Well, yes, let your adventures begin at California State Parks. That is great, a great thing to remember. But before you even get to the state park, let your California State Park adventures begin with the California State Parks Adventure Pass webpage. You can see the address scrolling along the bottom of our screen. It was presented to us in the video at www.parks.ca.gov/adventure pass. And let me take you there right now just to get you familiar with this great web page. Oh, let's bring it in a little bit. There we go, a little bit bigger right there. So when you type in that web address, it will bring you to this page right here. We can see that picture right there on the screen, that icon in the center right there. If you press that, that will show you that video again. So right there. But as we scroll on down, as you can see, it's very sensitive. There we go. Let's go on and scroll on down. So what is this Adventure Pass? Well, in the video, we learned that it's a pass for fourth graders to get free day use into 19 select parks of California state parks. And it provides, like I said, their free day use from parks throughout the entire state. Now, this is a partnership with the First Partners Office, the California Natural Resources Agency, and California State Parks in order to get more people outdoors and enjoying our open spaces that belong to all of us as citizens of California. Now we scroll on down and we see who. Well, we know that already. Fourth graders and their families. Anybody who's with that fourth grader will get free day use into those 19 select parks. The Adventure Pass is good for the entire fourth grade year, from September 1st to the summer afterwards, to August 31st. So that means this past year's fourth graders, you still have about another full month to enjoy your Adventure Pass before it expires on August 31st. This coming class of fourth graders, well, you can sign up on September 1st for your Adventure Pass, and that will get you into those 19 select parks for free and last all the way to the following year of August 31st, the summer after your fourth grade year. How? How do you get one of these? Well, right here, it'll tell you to go to the website reservecalifornia.com, or there's a phone number you can call as well. Mom or dad or a guardian is going to need to sign up their fourth grader with some basic information. You will get your Adventure Pass right then and there. You can download it and keep it on your mobile device, as well as print it up. I think it's good to have both, just in case, the situation at the park that you're going to. Now, where can this take you? Well, this webpage will show you that as well. In fact, I'm going to hold off and show you a really great map that we have of the Adventure Pass parks that will highlight all 19 of them. But you can also click right here and learn about it. There's also a section on how to recreate responsibly. Know before you go. Do some research to be prepared to not only be safe for yourself, but safe for the park as well, and protect its resources. So that's a really important thing to know about, is how to be responsible when you're out in these open spaces and museums and historic sites. Now we see those 4 circles. We're going to scroll right past them just for a moment and go to the spot that asks a question. ¿Tus padres hablan español? Hay ayuda en su idioma. Hay un número de teléfono aquí y un sitio de web, reservecalifornia.com. Hay ayuda en español. Now we scroll back up and we go to these 4 circles. We see that there's one for parents and guardians, one for educators, frequently asked questions, and the partner toolkit. Let's go ahead and click on that. But I encourage you to click on all of these when you get to this website. Now we have here some resources in both English and Spanish. We have got video tutorials on how to sign up. The process is quite simple, but in case you want a little bit more information, we've got tutorials right there. And we further scroll, we see some more videos about Adventure Pass parks for you to check out. So please do let your adventures begin with California State Parks on the California State Parks Adventure Pass website. And you can find that at www.parks.ca.gov/Adventure Pass. All right, fantastic. All kinds of great information. Now, the one part of the puzzle we haven't really talked about yet is where. Where will the Adventure Pass take you? Well, I'm glad you're wondering. Let me bring up an incredible map right here that will show you where these 19 parks are. They span from the sandy beaches in the south to the coast redwoods in the north, and many places in between. We've got historic mining sites, railroad museums, off-road vehicle parks, recreational areas, deserts, hiking trails, rivers, beaches, all of the great things that California State Parks has to offer. Your Adventure Pass can get you into for free day use. And those are the parks that will that accept our Adventure Pass. Incredible. You can spend your whole year finding out all these great places in California. Now, today, we are traveling to the very north, the northernmost Adventure Pass Park. Yeah, see if you can locate that. Yeah, Jedediah Smith Redwoods State Park is where we will land in just a moment. In fact, we're going to gear on up into our Google Earth spaceship like we always do. We are going to take it to Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park, where we will meet park interpreter Kyle. And he's going to share with us a bit about what an Adventure Pass user can do with their Adventure Pass at Jedediah Smith. So, all right, let's go ahead and cue up our spaceship. Hold on, everybody, because here we go. Wow.
Uh,
And here we are. And there is Kyle. He's the park interpreter at Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me here today, Daniel. I'm super excited to talk about this Adventure Pass. Through the couple years I've worked for state parks, this has got to be one of the coolest projects that's happened statewide. And I'm excited to be just at one of the locations, one of the 19 locations that people get to access with this beautiful pass. And first off, my name's Kyle, and I'm a park interpreter here at Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park. And behind me, you can see how gorgeous this location is. We have the beautiful redwood forest to one side of me right now, this ancient old growth forest. And then to the other side of me, we have this river, the Smith River, that runs right through the middle of our park. And we'll dive into some of the aspects about this river a little bit later. But first, I kind of wanted to talk about some of the things that you can do here when you visit Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park. And first off, right in the middle of our park name, Jedediah Smith Redwoods State Park, we got to talk about the Redwood Forest. I mean, it's beautiful. It's right here. And Daniel, maybe you could pull up a picture from inside the forest and you can see how majestic this forest is. I mean, there's no better feeling than walking through this forest in the morning, walking straight up to one of these old growth trees and just looking directly up and enjoying the sight of an old growth redwood tree. I mean, it really deepens your appreciation for this forest. But that's not the only thing that you get to access when you're hiking around this forest. I mean, you're looking at ferns that are sometimes the size of me. You're seeing all these different types of mosses and lichens, and it could really spark a really cool interest in plant life because we're just full of it. There's so much plant life, and maybe you are really fascinated in the redwood tree. And I mean, I don't blame you. This tree can grow for 300 feet and even taller than that, and it could live well past 2,000 years old. There's not many things that can even compare to a coastal redwood tree. But that's something else to talk about. I mean, I mentioned coastal redwood tree. We are really close to the coast right here. I mean, I'm only about 4 or 5 miles from the beach right now, Daniel. And there are a bunch of fun opportunities here on the coastline of the North Coast. And first off, a couple weeks ago, we had this super fun community event called Snapshot Cal Coast. It's this big statewide event that happens in a bunch of state parks and communities, and everyone takes a part, and they just get together. They maybe send out an Instagram post or Facebook post and get a bunch of people over to some tide pools, and everyone just goes exploring for a couple hours. They take a couple pictures, they look for some sea stars, some sea urchins. Up here, you might get super lucky and see an octopus or other really cool wildlife in our tide pools. And this is just another thing that you can do while you're exploring Jedediah Smith Redwoods. And yeah, Daniel's pulling up some of these amazing pictures of some of the little critters that you can see in our tide pools. And this is all across California. I mean, you can actually even compare some of the tide pools from the North Coast all the way down to the southern part of this state. But this is just our coastline too. And, you know, coastal redwoods, a lot of these 50 parks that have redwood forest in them have a lot of coastline as well. And I wanted to highlight something about Jedediah Smith Redwoods that's quite different than any other redwood park. It's actually quite different than any other park in California. And it's right behind me. It's this river, the Smith River. this river system is extremely protected, extremely healthy, and there's a really unique characteristic that no other major waterway in California has. It's the fact that this river, the Smith River, is California's last major undammed waterway. It is a completely healthy waterway with no dams along the whole duration of it. And it just allows for us to see this beautiful color that you're seeing right behind me because it's a free-flowing river. It's really healthy for all of the wildlife that lives up here on the North Coast, including our salmon populations. And it's also really fun to recreate in. So when you come here, be prepared to hang out by the river, whether that's just bringing a towel and hanging out or joining a couple of us interpreters on a ranger-led kayaking trip. I mean, we'll take people throughout a 2-mile stretch of the river when river levels allow for it. And unfortunately for this year, river levels have dropped just below our ability to kayak that section. But if you plan for next summer, you can come with me and a couple other interpreters on a kayak ride through the Smith River. And you could see a picture right there, how beautiful it is to look at these trees from the view of the river.
Wow. Hey, Kyle, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
How long of a journey can you kayak? How long's your kayak trip? Yeah.
We'll take people throughout a 2-mile stretch, and we actually start outside of the park exploring the whole watershed. And we'll come into the park, and you could really see that transition from second growth and forest that had been logged but restored. And then you're coming into the old growth forest where trees are just, 300 feet taller than where you're standing or where you're sitting in your kayak. And even sometimes taller than 300 feet. So it's really amazing. There's nothing like it. There really is not anything like it. And while you're kayaking along the river, you notice one thing for sure, and that's looking down at the river and how clear it is. You could see directly to the bottom of the river. You could see all these little fish swimming in and out of in between the kayaks. And if you're like me, you can't just sit in a kayak. You kind of need to hop in the river. You need to get in the water. If you could get your hands on a pair of goggles, you can see some really cool stuff in the Smith River. And Daniel, do you have that one video of the rough-skinned newt? Yeah, let's take a look at it.
I'll bring it right on up.
Sweet. Yeah, and that's one of our park interpreters at a live dive that we had last year. And they're pointing out a rough-skinned newt that's swimming along at the bottom. Yep, there you can see it.
Sharp eyes will see it. There it goes.
Oh.
All right.
Super awesome. Yeah, there's so many fun little critters that use this river as a home. The rough-skinned newt is especially interesting because it uses the river, it uses the forest, it uses the whole watershed. So it really raises the importance of having a nice, healthy watershed to recreate in. And this is the last thing that I'm really going to mention about our park in this area. And, our park, it is Jedediah Smith Redwoods State Park, but we're actually a part of something a little bigger than just our state park. We're part of this partnership between 3 state parks and 1 national park called Redwood National and State Parks. And this whole area is managed together as a team, and we work together to ensure just great recreation and great opportunities here in the forest. And one of the things that we do is this really big restoration project called Redwoods Rising. And it's us, the state park, the National Park Service, and Save the Redwoods League working together to restore certain second growth areas of the forest. And this is going to be a big interest for you 4th graders because you could come into our visitor center, you could join us on our ranger-led hikes, and you can ask all of our interpreters and people at the visitor center about this project and about all the different types of jobs that exist within this project. Maybe you might be curious about wildlife. You love birds or you love insects or whatever wildlife that you're really curious about. And you can ask about what different types of wildlife jobs there are in this restoration project. And you'll find out, and us interpreters will talk and talk and talk about those jobs. And maybe your interest isn't in wildlife, it's in plants and the forest. So you might want to talk to a forestry person that works on this project, or Maybe you love rocks and all the different sorts of geology that exists, so you talk to a geologist. But there's all these different opportunities that exist here in the Redwoods that this adventure pass is giving you insight to. So not only do you get a great place to recreate, but you get somewhere that gives you a little bit of an insight into what your future can look like. And I'll pass it back to you, Daniel.
Wow, Kyle, super cool. First of all, thank you so much for hosting us and sharing with us all the cool stuff that's going on at Jedediah Smith. And I know there's even more cool stuff that's going on. And thank you for encouraging fourth graders to get their adventure pass and check it out. Not only is it fun to explore, but it could lead into something bigger, like you said. Maybe this is a future job. Being a park interpreter, or a park ranger, or a trail crew, or maintenance. Or there's so many different things that that we need done with state parks. And fourth graders, some of them in the future will inevitably work with California State Parks. So absolutely awesome. So Kyle, I just want to again thank you. We'll go ahead and we'll say goodbye. And everybody, fourth graders especially, get yourselves to Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park. Check out those old growth coast redwoods. Put your feet into the river, if not more, and enjoy it. And search out Park Interpreter Kyle Buchanan. He's a fantastic resource for that park. Kyle, thank you once again.
Thanks for having me, Daniel, and I'm excited about this whole adventure pass.
Right on. All right. Well, we'll be in touch, my friend. I'll talk to you later. All right, everybody, we're coming to the close of our Adventure Pass Exploration live stream. Before we do say goodbye, there's a few things I want to remind you about. Not only about how easy the Adventure Pass is to get, but also to inform you that there's another pass that's really great for California citizens. And let me go ahead and bring up this great poster right here. It's the California State Parks Library Parks Pass. If you have a library card to your local library, you can go to it and check out the day use pass. That's good for actually almost 200 California state parks, so quite a bit more than the Adventure Pass. And it'll be good to check out for however long the library checks out its materials. So I encourage you all to check out not only Adventure Pass, but the Library Parks Pass as well, as we try and make our state parks and our open land that belong to all of us more accessible to all of us as well. So thank you once again for joining us on our live stream adventure, this time to Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park to learn more about the Adventure Pass. My name is Daniel, and I appreciate you being here. And remember, your California State Park adventure begins with the California State Park Adventure Pass and the California State Park Adventure Pass website. So with that, everybody, I just want to thank you so much again for joining us, and we'll see you next month. Our next live stream will take place on September 1st, the beginning of the new Adventure Pass year, and we will be at Samuel P. Taylor Redwood State Park. So I'll see you then, everybody. Bye for now.